mining firms, and then ended up with the Chamber of Mines Minerals Commission. Currently, I understand he's reading law. Let's see if you trust Wikipedia. I do know they got the other facts right, but I don't know whether Dr. Tony Aubynn is actually reading law. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Doc, I hope you're well.
I am a lawyer. I'm not reading law.
Oh, you are done. Call to the bar.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Look, congratulations on that. Since I said you were reading law, so
no, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, first, let's start with the matter of the discussion around the whole lithium agreement, and of course, Raymond Acha was also speaking about it, and how we should be guided by history. What do you make of the scrutiny that this particular deal is going through, even though there are some people who even admit that it looks better?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited that Ghanaians are now talking about their own natural resources, that people now can read, look for information, and then be part of a debate that on a subject that affects their livelihoods, their economy, and everything. Now, to negotiate, or when you have a contract to negotiate, and in fact, for government, for a good policy to be made, you need to look at three key things. One is the contract, another one is the history, and your own projection. What is the context within which this lithium is being discussed, or within which a contract between government and an operator of a mine or developer would be reached? First, you are in a situation where lithium has a great demand. In fact, it's a major resource in the world quest for green energy, and there's huge demand for it. And when there's a huge demand for something, you try and sell, and you have it. You sell it at a price that returns optimum outcome for you. So the question is whether what we have done brings us the optimum returns. Now, government tickles itself and laughs because it has tried to increase some benefit rates that is existent at this time. If you look at the minerals and mining law, the royalty rate is 5%. Government has increased it to, or at least the negotiation brought it up to 10%, which is exceptional. And then also the interest, the ownership rate. The ownership is now moved from 10% free carry to how much? 13% and all that. One might say, on the face of it, that if you move from 5% to 10%, it's an increase. So we can clap for you. If you move the ownership rate from 13%, like 10 to 13%, you may go to the dance floor and enjoy yourself because you've done some marginal increase. But within the context of demand, I think you could ask for more. You could do more. And I would come back with my own suggestion of how the kind of framework we should be looking at going forward. So the other one is history, the history that I spoke about. The Ghana has mined for a long time, and gold has been the rather uncomfortable measure for the benefit that we have received from developing our minerals. We have mined gold, manganese, and diamonds for a century, at least for gold over a century. And we still complain that we haven't reaped the benefit. So remember when the oil came, we all thought, wow, that was an opportunity for us to change things. So there were a few changes in the oil arrangement that seemed to be a little superior to what the solid minerals, benefit rates were. Now we have a mineral now whose demand is so high, and for which you can always ask for more. You don't ask for what is marginal. Now, I listened to Raymond, and he was mentioning a few countries. the main lithium triangle. I mean, there's a lithium triangle which consists of, I think, Argentina, Chile, and Mexico. They are all, apart from Argentina, the two other countries are really thinking of actually either mining the minerals themselves or going into what they call private public arrangement, the public-private arrangement, where the public, in this case the government, dictates the pace. It is not the private sector that mines and said, we give you 5%, we give you 10%, or something like that. So that is where the discussions are going. And then, of course, you project, would there still be a demand for it? And yes, the lithium would have a high demand for a long time. After the COP20, we all knew what came out. Everybody is talking about batteries, battery-powered cars, battery-powered everything. So you know that demand is going to continue and be a long-time thing. So you want to make enough or a lot out of it. So that is the crux of the matter. Are we making enough? Could we have made more? Could we have come up radically with a different framework? And I'm saying yes. If you look at a country like Botswana has an arrangement where in the development of its diamond, they have 51-49. So the government has 51%. And so it's not free carried. The government participates in it and has 51%. And the other private sector, which is partnering with government, has 49%. And they work as if they're doing a private sector work. So this is the framework that I think we should be looking at. And otherwise, we can even say, look, this is our mineral, which is in higher demand. If you want to develop it for us, come and develop it for us, we'll give you 40%. Or we'll give you 40-something percent. And then we have, including other benefit that goes directly to the communities, for which would be, would always be part of the benefit sharing. It is not going to be, would be before the benefit sharing. Whatever you get, you give some part to the community, and then we share the rest in a ratio that benefits us. It is the nature of the mineral, it is the timing, it is the context which is making people believe that this is the time when Ghana could now have a commanding height over its natural resources. I guess that's where those who are opposed to the current government arrangement stand for. The government will always say, "Oh, it was 5% that I brought it up to 10%, so we should all go to the dance floor." But I think, could the government have done something more, something radical, something new for the country, given our history, given the current context, and given our projection? Okay. That is the crux of the matter.
Are you clear in your mind what the government's own projections are as to how much Ghana should be benefiting from this lithium? From listening to everything the minister has been saying, the CEO of the Minerals Commission has been saying.
Yeah, but government thinks that we should get 10% of royalties instead of 5%. Government thinks that the free carry interest, we should have 13% instead of 10%. So that's what government thinks. Government thinks that we should invest directly, increase our share if we have. Why is the government thinking that the MEF should even put money in there and invest? Because that's the way it should be. That we should go in directly, let our skin be in the pie, and then reap the benefit, which we know would be big. If you look at the current demand and the future demand as has been projected, we stand to gain if we have an arrangement which is almost equal to, like equal partnership in a way between the developer and government. And I have always advocated that when government is participating in the development of its resources, it shouldn't be partisan. And I know I can bet my bottom city that when it comes to this situation, government will appoint people, the party secretaries, party chairman, party organizing secretaries to be there instead of having the technically competent people, regardless of which political persuasion they belong, being part just in the interest of Ghana. And I'm saying this because if you look at our attempt to establish the Ghana International Airline, Ghana International Airline, let's just look at the composition of the executives and other workers there. Almost everybody had something to do with the party, and that's where we are dying in this situation. Look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia runs the Ethiopian airline, and it's a state-controlled entity, but the state doesn't run it directly. It employs competent people to run it. It partners other people to run it so that they will get the benefit. So we need to look at that. I mean, we need to look at the state going into development as well. Our first experiment failed. We've learned a lot of lessons, and I think it is time for us to look at a different framework in developing our natural resources.
There are those who say, and in fact, one of the key supporters of the arrangement that government has put forward, and of course the arrangement that we've always gone with, is that this involves less risk, but hopefully more reward. That what you're suggesting when you're looking for a PPA arrangement is that you're asking government to risk more and perhaps not be get back as much as we are putting in. What do you make of that argument?
I used to make a similar argument because we tend to complain that we are not getting enough from our natural resources. But if you don't have your skin in the pie, how are you going to get more? If you want somebody to take all the risk for you, then of course the token that we are receiving would be enough for us, and we shouldn't complain. We shouldn't talk about Obuasi not looking like Johannesburg, Takwa not because our skin is not in the pie, because we get between 3 and 5% in royalties. Even if you look at it carefully, you see that you might say it is even big. If you talk to the miners, the mining companies will tell you, but we are giving you quite a lot. So we had to, at a point, even push local content in order for us to reap a bit more from there. So these are all areas that you need to look at. And of course, there's a certain level of cynicism and skepticism about our government, about the state's ability to manage these things and being open-minded about these things. So people are concerned about how the negotiations even went, who are involved. This is not something that people would have thought about. But now people are looking at who are involved in these operations. Who owns this? Who has this percentage? Do they belong to some individuals within some political persuasions? So this is really hitting everybody, and therefore government should come openly, be transparent. Let's see how you went about your negotiations. Let's also see why you couldn't go beyond just the 5%, 2% increases and all that. Because we need more. This is an opportunity. I mean, we have had this lithium since God created us. They didn't just come a few days ago. We have discovered it, and we are now developing it because it is important now. Because it is a commodity which has value now. After all, Sena, let me say that the Stone Age. In the Stone Age, stones were very valuable. That's why they call it Stone Age. And the Stone Age ended not because there were no stones, but because the stones were no longer valuable. So now the lithium is valuable. We're looking at lithium, even some people are calling it white gold and all that. So it means that it becomes very valuable, and we need to make the best out of it without cheating anybody. We have to be open-minded and be willing to put our best foot inside it.
And having said that, in fact, you are one of the persons who has given me a lot more confidence in the lifespan of lithium, because there are those who are also of the opinion that nowadays technology moves so speedily that what you thought to be game-changing within the next 2 years would all of a sudden vanish into oblivion. You'll still be holding on to lithium, and you have moved on to another mineral or substance that's producing battery, better lifespan, and then they really do not want the lithium. That the earlier we get rid of these minerals and make as much as we can from it, the better. Is that also not worth considering?
No, it is worth considering. The point is, if we are going to mine it for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, what is the benefit to us? That's the question. It is not about how long it will be. And this lithium is not the only mineral in this whole quest for cleaner energy for the world. The minerals that generally they are called critical minerals. Critical minerals, they go beyond all the rare earths and all that. They go beyond just the lithium. So it is possible. But gold has always been there. Gold is still valuable. Diamond is still valuable and all that. So once the demand is there, it means the value is there. And if the world is moving away from hydrocarbons, the fossil fuels, and the alternative is cleaner, carbon-free or reduced carbon minerals, then you know that we have a long way to go. It depends upon deposit. And this will also give us the opportunity for the country to actually map its mineral deposit, try and identify and map. Once you have mapped and you know the content, the quantity of your mineral deposit, your reserves, then you can go to the table and be a good negotiator because you know what it is. You can calculate, you can project. And I have read somewhere that the reason why government can now go to a table and talk about bauxite is because in the days of Nkrumah and others, they made sure that our bauxite deposit was properly mapped. In fact, significantly mapped. So we know the quantity of bauxite that we have. We know the quality. We can only add a bit more because we will do further studies. But then it gives us the upper hand to go to the table. So we have an opportunity now. Someone might say, and I'm likely to incline to that side a bit, that well, these people came to the table knowing that your laws are there, and they came, and therefore once they came under the laws that they knew, it may be unfair to now come back and say, look, we are asking for what is extremely more. That may be given. That may be an argument, but I think as a country, we need to now develop a different mining framework, mineral development framework, so that we do not, we do not go under one type of arrangement, which is for all type of minerals. I mean, you can have some for gold, especially given the challenges of mining gold. We can have some for critical minerals. Within the broad framework of a natural resource development, we can do that. So I think the concern is understandable. People being worried that we are not getting enough is understandable because of the context, because of our history, and because of the projections of the mineral we are dealing with.
And I don't know if you inadvertently let in what you think should happen, because you promised to tell us what's your own thinking on this.
Yes, I think my own thinking is what I've said, that we need to move away from, the current benefits distribution. For instance, in our current law, we have a royalty rate of between 5 and 12% or so. I think they've now ring-fenced 5%, so it's about 5%. You have free carry interest of 10%, with a government ability to increase it if it is going to put capital and a few other things. The 1%, for instance, community development thing, it's not novel, it's not new. Most of the mining companies around now have about 1% of their profit. Some have 1% profit and 1% production. that should be used as a basis of community development. We also have this community mineral development fund. I mean, we call it the mineral development fund, part of which should be used in developing the minerals and in developing the communities and other institutions which are involved in our mineral development. So I think we should move away from that and then now come and say that, like we are trying to do with the bauxite and iron ore and all that, that if we found this type of mineral, we are going to mine it ourselves. Mexico is going to do that. Mexico has decided that all its lithium, given the importance of it, would be controlled by itself. I'm just giving examples of how this can be done or where this has been done. The Saudi Arabia that about their oil is not mined 100, and then given 13%. They wouldn't have been as rich as they are. They call you to come and mine their oil. You do all those things, and you have maybe 30%, 40%. What your person developing it has 40%, 50%. The state has 60% or more. And so you see, and they are not running away. They are coming. It's not like once you say it, they won't come. If you are fair, open, and transparent with investors, they will come, especially mining investors in mineral, which is as important as lithium.
And Doc, let me conclude with you on this note. You have a former Chief Justice, Justice Fayakuvo, becoming a leading voice in a demand for this deal to be rejected, that if it goes to Parliament, Parliament should refuse to ratify it, and our government should be forced to go back to the table and have negotiations with everybody involved, look at other views as to how this can be made, this can be put in a manner that works in the interest of Ghana. Where do you stand on the current deal?
Well, my stand is that, I stand with Madam, Her Lordship, Madam Sophia Akufu. I think if the people for whom the negotiations were done feel uncomfortable, they feel something is wrong, it may make the whole deal unsustainable, because if it is in the minds of Ghanaians, we've been so shortchanged, then it is going to continue in different forms. The protests will be continuing in different forms, not only in the streets. So I think it's important that Parliament dispassionately interrogate the agreement and see whether we could have had a better agreement than what we have. And again, looking at the context, looking at the history, our history, in dealing with our minerals, and then of course the projection of the type of mineral we are looking at. So if Parliament looks at these carefully and realizes that, look, we have been shortchanged, they should bring the people onto the table, because after all, the people who negotiated it did that on behalf of, the Minerals Commission and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, which led the negotiation. They did that on behalf of the people. So if the people think that they could have done better, they should sit up and then look at it. So I am in that area. My little worry, being a former CEO of the Minerals Commission and having been in the industry for some time, is that the other party might raise the issue of, why are you doing this to me when you came to me, you invited me on the basis of the law you have. You invited me because your law says I'll pay 5% royalty, government have 10%, and therefore, if you're asking me in the middle of it to do that, it will be a difficulty. But until it has been agreed, it is not agreed. Until it has been ratified, and the laws are there. You're here when a Ghanaian who had a license, who had all the permit and done all the work, and the lease had not been ratified. On the basis of that, they took it from him. So that would not be a strange thing. We have done it before. So if it's not ratified, it is not agreed yet.
Well, it is refreshing to hear you say that they are doing this whole arrangement in the name of the people of Ghana. If the people of Ghana say no, go back and do it again, they should listen.
Absolutely.
Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Dr. Tony Aubynn is a former chief executive of the Minerals Commission, joining us on the line.